So today we're going to be looking at some politics, MAGA Civil War, maybe some video games, and then probably just whatever the fuck else. There's been a lot of things going on that's kind of interesting within the MAGA influencer base.
And even in friend.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are
territory. And you had a Pennsylvania Democratic strategy.
And we're going to use
if you want to push it out and like really get it out there,
has now been reduced to a mere skeleton crew. No one was safe. I'm not even big people at the. It was an absolute bloodbath. Do not allow them to spin it. Okay, I'm talking entire departments, big people at the firm, lawyers at the firm, the chief operating officer, the executive vice president.
Something I would like to point out is you should not believe a single fucking word that comes out of Candace Owens' mouth. I would believe fucking Nick Fuentes before Candace Owens. And that's just because Candace Owens is a normal looking and I would say stereotypically attractive woman, especially to like your average like middle-aged white man. You know what I'm saying? She's a black lady who has changed everything about her to try to get herself as white as possible. And she pushes very fucked up agendas. And here in the last couple of years, especially, she's been the conspiracies are just just unbelievable. Just unbelievable. The shit with Macron people assassinating her. Candace Owens, I'm pretty sure, like has like a team where they just come up with like crazy shit. I don't think someone who looks and acts like her outside of the podcast would truly believe that. I don't think someone who believed that sort of stuff would be able to put themselves together. I think there would have, if she believed it, she'd be scared. I think she just is just pump and dump anything. Anything.
Overnight collapse.
Okay, so on May 1st, we had the Daily Wire confirming mass layoffs, with the company telling The Wrap that the cuts were largely concentrated at its Nashville headquarters, and they said that the restructuring is tied to investment in new production formats and geographic expansion, right? And they didn't, in that initial announcement, give a headcount. And so then you have Candace Owens walking in, who you might remember was fired from the Daily Wire in 2024 over her comments about Israel and a series of statements widely criticized as anti-Semitic. And you had Owens posting on Twitter claiming that 50% of the company's staff had been let go, though she then bumped that number to 60%, and she went on her show and called it an absolute bloodbath, like the equivalent of Enron saying it's a virtual overnight collapse. But then you had the Daily Wire firing back, with editor-in-chief Brent Scher posting on Twitter, quote, "Yes, the company had layoffs today. It's always really tough. No, it was nowhere near 50% of the company." That's insane, and also insane to post without verifying. And while a spokesperson for the outlet said that the layoffs amounted to 13% of the staff this year, that figure didn't include layoffs from the prior year. And so the company appears to still have more.
13%.
You had Puck News putting the number closer to 20%, or around 42 employees. Though also an independent industry tracker called layoffhedge.com pegged it at around. And so the situation is, no one outside of the company really knows the number. Owens probably inflating it. The Daily Wire, Shapiro's unwavering position on Israel and the Iran war at a moment when a substantial chunk of the younger conservative base has been moving in the opposite direction. So folks like Tucker Carlson, they've managed to benefit from that shift.
He's gotten very, very popular lately.
So we have here. Let's lay this out. We got Tucker. We got Tuck, right? We got Benny Boy. We've got Candace. I'm just putting Can. Who else we got? I'd say even Nick Fuentes. Alrighty. Who else we got? I'm talking people who might actually have somewhat of a voice in this in the conservative online movement. Those are the biggest ones I can think of that are the most legitimized. So we'll reassess this here. We will reassess this after we watch the
with Muslim viewers,
she?
Because he's been standing up for Islam. I know for a fact he has a lot of young men flocking to him. And so while he may have lost some contingent of the Fox News audience that's very, very pro-Israel and, pro-Trump, and you can't say anything about Trump, for every one of those who leaves, there is another newer, younger audience.
She will be added to the board. Meg. All right, Megan. All right. I've never really paid too close attention of her because she's fucking stupid.
Ian Spember, who does want to hear these traditional lines challenged.
With then Shapiro responding to her clip on Twitter saying, "Go get them clicks," with Kelly then shooting back, "Don't you have a company to save?" And whether you think Kelly's right about the cause, the underlying observation here, it's not really debatable. The conservative media center of gravity, it's been shifting. Carlson's audience is growing. Owen's audience is growing. Nick Fuentes,
so
no one even cares about.
So let's paint this out. While everybody here is going up in viewers for the most part, Ben Shapiro here is going down, and that's Daily Wire in general. Matt Walsh is the one I'm not gonna even fucking speak his name one more time because he's such a piece of shit. All right, now I think a lot of this civil war, the MAGA civil war within this, can be traced back to, guess what, October 7th. That really shook up how people thought about things when it came to Judaism, when it came to religion, when it came to racism, their racism. Even before that, we had Ukraine, which was somewhat of a split issue as well. Now, Ukraine was not as much of a split issue, right? It was pretty much go with Trump. Oh, someone we probably shouldn't forget that we had for a long time, and that's why this list probably feels kind of weird, is someone's missing from it. Fucking Charlie Kirk, assassinated, motherfucker. He was probably the head of, of this, as far as like viewership and influence and legitimacy. Probably followed by Ben and Tucker, maybe, But after he got taken out, that was after all that. So after he got taken out, it kind of was like this vacuum of like, because Charlie Kirk was more your standard brand of just like old school racism, like, oh, the black people just aren't gonna do as good job, and that's just how it is, we just, without even thinking, like, that sort of thought is racist. Kind of like the Nick Fuentes thought, but dialed down to be more accepting, I guess, or more palatable, so that people can take it in a little bit easier, while also presenting that good old school suit, good white man vibe, Christian, whatever the fuck they are, Catholic. Now, this all set in motion this weird MAGA civil war, which I would like to point out is nothing compared to the overall voter base. Like, would these people contract as far as people that vote and do things? I don't think it's as important as people think. But if we want to talk about the MAGA civil war, this is pretty much what caused it. Ben Shapiro is going to support Israel no matter what. You're going to see some other people, Candace Owens, going against that, saying it's genocide, all at the same time. Some people stayed with Israel first, then kind of flipped around, that being Tucker, while a lot of them still grasping on to racism against Arabic people and Muslims. But that's how where we're at now. So let's continue.
About figure just 2-3 years ago has a huge audience now. And the Daily Wire, which was just a few years ago the dominant brand in this space, is not anymore. But then also, this is my favorite part of the situation, there is a very specific business decision that's been getting a ton of blame for the company's financial pressure. And it is, and I'm not joking here, a fantasy series called The Pendragon Cycle, Rise of the Merlin. Right, to give you
the fucking what?
The Pendragon Cycle, it was the personal passion project of Jeremy Boring, Daily Wire co-founder, former co-CEO, the guy who left the company in early 2025. And it is a 7-episode Arthurian legend adaptation filmed across Italy, Hungary, and Romania. According to the Hollywood Reporter and Mediaite, the budget was 7 figures per episode and 8 figures overall. So believed to be somewhere between $10 and $30 million total, depending on which reporting that you believe. Right, page 6.
So, okay, let's go back to our drawing board. If we want to look at Daily Wire, one thing that's kind of like not really talked about but kind of known is that their big fucking thing that they fucked up with was movies. They dumped a lot of fucking money, like he said, in the movies that were dog shit. There was like one, I think, that had the chick from Mandalorian that got canceled for some fucking reason. That was I never watched any of them, but apparently that one was pretty good. But out of that, the rest of them just kind of dog shit. So this didn't fucking work. Trying the whole retake Hollywood thing. I think another part of it that's probably, I don't think as influential, but just maybe more of a dump of money that didn't do anything, was Walsh. This motherfucker. Contributes nothing. I think he just holds on to more of your old school racist people, kind of like the Steven Crowders, but that wouldn't go with this. Oh, that reminds me. We have Crowder. Put his in red because he's evil too. Crowder is not nearly as popular. He's been on a downward spiral as well. And that downward spiral, a big part of it happened after his oof. And there was footage of his house of him being a dick to his wife. So yeah, that kind of started another downfall. But he has like a solid base now that will consistently watch him. But he used to be a lot bigger, especially when Trump was getting elected. So here we go, revised. Downfall because of divorce. This shit kind of started happening because of October 7th. As far as who likes who. Before that, Ukraine kind of helped form it. Daily Wire is doing shit because of the movies. Now, we're going to talk about Candace Owens. She is doing good because of, one, she is a Nazi, and two, she is a conspiracy theorist. I'm just going to put that. All right. Now, she's been pandering to a lot of that conspiracy theorist stuff, Nazi stuff, and she can say it because she's a black woman. Well, she, you know what I mean. White people can watch her and not feel as uncomfortable because someone who's looks different than them, and if they would typically hate if they weren't in this exact position, is saying it. So let's continue.
Politics cited $3 million per episode, putting the total above $20 million, making it the most expensive production in Daily Wire history. Right, and with this, according to Candace Owens, so take that with the appropriate amount of salt, Shapiro and his other co-founder, Caleb Robinson, had grown disillusioned with...
Something else we could throw in here, who also used to be a player. Not dead, but guess what AJ stands for? Alex Jones. We all know... I guess Kirk gets a red line too. Oof. We all know what happened to him, you know. He was a piece of shit. That's Ness. You know, that's why he's doing bad. So he's not really in the sphere anymore. These are the people who are kind of still in the sphere. Crowder, not as much.
Boring's leadership, specifically because of Pendragon.
Pendragon, Jeremy's high school dream, drove the company into the ground financially.
Here's another reason. Here's another reason I think Candace Owens is doing better. I think she talks about personal things. Things like how her and Charlie after Charlie died, she was not scared to like talk about text, share videos, say talk about the things people are saying outside of the videos, outside of your typical just grifting, talking shit. It's like it's tea is what it is. It's tea. It's crazy fucking tea that she makes up.
With the project, I want to be clear.
I think that's a reason why.
That not even Disney Studios would have invested tens of millions of dollars in. That's a tremendous financial risk.
Now, that said, Boring has publicly defended the show. He called the criticism of his management lies and said that revenue grew every year that he was at the company.
I've read almost every day for a year and change that I left the Daily Wire after bankrupting the company. That's not true. Every single year that I led the Daily Wire...
So this is how you can tell these grown-ass men are chronically online even though they try to present themselves as these classy guys, look at all this cool shit, he has to make a video defending himself, and it can't even be the actual company that's saying it. It has to be him outside of the company.
We grew revenue every year, year over year, for 10 straight years. My last full quarter as CEO,
I mean, this is like what you'd put on a resume, or like what you'd explain to
at that time
employer.
The biggest quarter in the history of the company. My last full year as CEO was at that time the biggest year in the history of the company, just like the year before it had been, and the year before that, and the year before that.
With then Owens' response to that essentially being, sure, revenue grew, that just means that you sold more stuff. The question is what you spent to do it.
When he says, revenue grew every year while I was there, All that means is we sold more stuff. Revenue means how much money the company is taking in, but how much it spends matters much more. What is the profit?
Right, whatever the actual financial impact of Pendragon was, that's the public-facing story now. This fantasy show became, fairly or not, the symbol of a company that stripped it from...
I don't think he goes through any more of that stuff. We know about oil prices a little bit. Excuse me. But that's kind of the gist. That's kind of the MAGA Civil War a little bit I want to talk about. It's been kind of floating around in my head. I just need to put on something on a stream. I think this makes sense. We can talk about why other people are popular. Megyn Kelly, I think a lot of it is the same thing as Candace. That's why she's popular. Who the fuck did I make this person? I can't even remember their name now. Fuck. Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly. I'm thinking of big. Well, that must have not been that fucking important. Anyways, I forget who that one is. Tucker Carlson. No, this was for kind of embodying all of it. Tucker Carlson is because he, I think, is embracing that more normalcy. But at the same time, and this is what he's always done, he's able to pack things. And even the crazy shit he pushes off into a digestible format that makes it seem a lot more realistic. Now it's gonna piss me off who I forget who this is. And you have your other ones, Benny Johnson. You have that chud guy who just got fucking shot himself and is gonna get charged with attempted murder because he's a piece of shit, asshole, idiot. You have bald motherfucker who's a Russian bot. What's his name? I forget. There's a few others I don't think influence as much. I think more of it, like, if any, this doesn't matter. None of this matters for the real world. This matters more for the internet's face of that, of what it's in, and the type of propaganda that's pushed through that, and what people, repost, and that's what regular people see. But as far as the real world, no one cares about these people. No one, not a single person. Like, you have your assholes, but no, not like when Charlie Kirk got shot. Most people did not give a fuck, or even just like, oh, that guy got killed. Like no one. Most people didn't give a fuck. Or in the Alex Jones thing, just because they don't fucking follow it like other people do.
Podcasts and political
this fucking dude is clearly chronically fucking online wherever he went.
Commentary into expensive prestige production that it may not have had the audience to support. And hey, I know for a lot of people it is fun to watch them.
Welcome to Strike Gently. We sell woven blankets.
We have over 80 different blanket designs to choose.
Sup, you beautiful bastards. Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show, you daily. Bernie is on the record backing the opponent that
Very quickly.
she alleges that Massey helped her obtain a position as a congressional to take Massey's seat, and he lost his own primary against Massey 14 years ago. Starting with the specifics of this primary, you have Kentucky Representative Thomas Massey running for his 8th term in Kentucky's 4th congressional district. The primary is May 19th, and as we've talked about, Massey's currently locked in a race where the combined ad spending is top $25 million.
Yeah, I live in Kentucky. You see it.
$1 million. You've got Trump-backed challenger Ed Galbraith outspending Massey roughly $14 million.
Now here's the thing. I'll vote for Massey over this fucking piece of shit any day. This is the type of guy who has like, I'm your Trump guy, which is just like, get on your knees and suck his cock, why don't you, and fucking make that your ad.
$1 million to $10 million. This is a race where you...
Anybody who does that. I mean, I don't care. It was a fucking Democrat said that if Massey said like, I'm gonna be your fucking, I don't know, like, your Kamala, just anything, I'd be like, this is fucking
AI generated ads accusing Massey of cheating on the America First movement with AOC and Ilhan Omar. There are insults and counter insults on every social issue that you can name. And the reason that this primary is expensive is that Massey's become one of the loudest Republican critics of Donald Trump, especially around the release of the Epstein files. And among other things, he was the only Republican to publicly push back on Pam Bondi at a congressional hearing earlier this year on it. And Trump has, in response, made personally destroying Massey's career a stated political project. Polling from April.
And I've heard Massey's done a lot of shit that a lot of Democrats don't like, and I'm not gonna lie, I have not followed Massey's career like I not done as much research as I should have. Compared with who he's running against, and with the Epstein stuff, there's no reason for me not to vote for him. It's not. It's like, why give Republicans any chance to have that piece of shit in there and represent us. That's not what I want. That's not what I want. I would much rather have Massey than another piece, Ed Galver piece.
April showed Massey in the lead, but even he has said that this is going to be a close race. You've got people like Candace Owens echoing these concerns, saying that we cannot lose Massey to the donor class. So the stakes, they're high, and it really will be a test of Trump's ability to personally sway races. So that is the backdrop, which brings us to the video that hit Twitter this morning. A video that appears to be a deposition-style recording from a woman identified as Cynthia West, a Florida school board candidate.
No, I'm not gonna lie. And just being from Kentucky here and like knowing people and like what people care about to a point, I feel like I can speak on a little bit more than this. The most, like, doesn't matter what side you're on, there's a good chunk of people who don't vote, right? I will say the shit with Trump, it's enough to get at least old school Democrats who typically would now support a Republican to not like that anymore, to support Democrats. People are fatigued on the whole woke thing and gay and trans shit, like and the Epstein stuff. Like, you can't not see it somewhere. You know, if you're old and you watch the news, you're gonna see stuff about it. You're gonna, you know, old people do Google searches too. And it's just, Trump, it's a very big thing. It's like, just because it's Trump, people will vote for you. But I think it's more of, I don't think Trump people would vote for Thomas Massey, unless they just like Thomas Massey already, don't really, like, you know, give a fuck about the whole association and him going after Trump. You know, at least in the context of like this election, I think it'll be just they don't care about their opponent. They're their guy, the Trump guy. I just think they just won't care. It's just gonna be like, what? This is gonna be like, what?
For Okaloosa County. It opens with a Kentucky attorney named Marcus Carey introducing the situation, saying that West was nervous about coming forward and needed encouragement to share her story. The video then cutting to a single camera on West herself, and in her account, West alleges that 2 months after Massey's wife of 31 years, Rhonda, passed away from cancer in June of 2024, Massey reached out to her on social media and they began a brief romantic relationship.
Like I said, it was very intense, very quick. He wanted to move to the next stages very, very quickly.
She alleges that Massey helped her obtain a position as a congressional staffer, not in his own office, but in another lawmaker's office.
This was my fairy tale, so I thought, right? And so I didn't have a job, but then he texted me and he got a job for me at another congressional office that would have allowed me to, you know, work that schedule to be with him.
She then alleges that she ended the relationship over uncomfortable behavior, that she was subsequently fired from her congressional staff job, that she believes that it was retaliatory, and that she filed an ethics complaint naming Massey.
He wanted me to engage in behavior that I wasn't comfortable, so I couldn't stay in that relationship. I would say emotionally abusive.
What'd you do?
Well, I mean, at that point, I broke up with him.
Right, and then she also alleged that Massey attempted to keep her quiet through a cash offer and a later $60,000 settlement conditioned on signing an NDA, which she says that she refused.
Have they made any efforts to resolve this with you?
Yes. So I have an offer. It's at the House for approval, but settlement.
You have an offer of what?
Settlement for $60,000 to settle the case. And for
so his wife passed away. I didn't know if it was like he was cheating on his wife or what. That's how his wife passed away.
Retaliatory discharge in the congressional.
So far, what I'm gathering, it's not the relationship necessarily. It's the fact that one, he fucked somebody and maybe put her in a position of power, and then two, use that to retaliate against her and try to keep her quiet, like a Trump hush money thing. I could definitely see this happening, especially considering that, like, you know, when you're in that political position, you don't really want to come out.
National Accountability Act violation with the Office of Victoria Sparks. But if I do that, then I have to sign an NDA, and so I I can't do that.
Though also I have to mention with this video, at least as of recording, is that none of the specific claims have been independently confirmed, and Massey and his team have not yet responded as of recording. It also really has only gotten attention in right-wing circles so far, even though it was trending really high on Twitter.
And I will also say, it kind of confuses me, especially with how recent that is. That there wouldn't be text
This morning, it was very contained in its own bubble. It didn't make major headlines in the mainstream papers, and that ends up limiting the kinds of responses and conversation surrounding it. But that then brings us to why the source is such a big topic of conversation. You've got plenty of people today noting that Marcus Carey, the attorney who recorded and released this video, has a documented on-the-record history with Thomas Massey that the video does not mention. In May,
that's one thing. So like when we talk about this MAGA Civil War thing too, they all talk about each other, and it happens within the influencer space. But when something bad happens, like with the Democrats, I feel like no, this is brush on the rug. They don't talk about it.
In 2012, which was Massey's very first congressional primary.
Also, the fact that that's Massey in 2012, or that's him now. I mean, I remember him as a kid. I remember when he got elected. He looks super fucking different.
Mark Carey was one of his opponents on the Republican ballot, with Massey winning that primary. Also, just 5 days ago, the Dispatch published a deep dive profile on the current primary fight. And in that article, Marcus Carey is quoted on the record describing himself as a supporter of Ed Galbraith, the Trump-backed candidate.
And a lot of people might hear that story and think it's not the worst thing. Because she says a behavior I wasn't comfortable with. It kind of leads you up to a lot of assumptions. Over here, you know, people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that fucking womanizer dude. Now that guy just goes around and fucks other people and who fucks his staffers." That's that's what they want to be in your head when you go into the polls, and then they just want to see Trump guy as the other guy. You know, that as I was saying earlier, like don't care. They want to get them to care.
He's running against right now, with the Dispatch identifying Carey as an attorney and longtime GOP operative who lives in Owen County and is back in Galbraith. And his direct quote to the Dispatch was that Massey won't wear the uniform and won't stand with the troops. But with all that said, as far as the reaction, especially from the right-wing internet, it's been kind of split down the middle. Right on one side, you've got accounts using the video to argue that Massey is a hypocrite who built a brand on Epstein transparency while allegedly behaving badly himself. But then, on the other side, you've got conservatives saying this is nonsense, that this is just a, quote, desperate and vile way of trying to take a swing when they can't beat a man at the ballot box. With some even drawing a comparison to Trump and saying MAGA used to not fall for this, now it's what they do. And while we wait to see if Massey responds or what comes next, one of the big questions is, does this move the needle? And regarding whether this affects the primary depends
like that lady's just
kind of on three things. One, how Massey responds. Does he stay silent? Does he respond badly? Does he produce evidence that the allegations are fabricated? Two, whether the mainstream press picks it up. Right now, it really hasn't. You know, if a major outlet independently verifies any piece of West's account, that definitely shifts this in a lot of people's eyes. And three, how local voters actually read the situation. Massey's base is, by seemingly every account, unusually personally loyal to him. And he actually just recently gave a 2-hour interview with Tucker Carlson laying out exactly this kind of attack playbook in advance. And so there is a chance that framing this as a smear attempt, it could actually help him with certain voters. But again, there are multiple variables that we just don't know how it's going to play out right now. And it's involving a race that is very, very tight, right? And this is already a primary that we had eyes on because it is fundamentally about whether the Republican Party can tolerate dissent from Trump. Most Republicans who criticize the president become former Republican representatives. Many just don't even run for re-election. For now, we'll have to wait to see what happens. And then there's more we've got to dive into in just a minute, but first let me thank a sponsor and say, you know, you ever spend more time figuring out what's for dinner than actually making dinner? Somehow the hardest part here is the estimated cost of that war has risen $4 billion in just the past 2 weeks, and while Trump and his cronies, they claim that it's going to be over soon, the regime, they're expanding their claim over the Strait of Hormuz and threatening to bring the stockpile of uranium that it still possesses to weapons grade. Right, but let's start with what's most directly affecting everyday Americans, and that is higher prices. Because according to new official data, year-over-year inflation hasn't been this high since May of 2023. You've got the Bureau of Labor Statistics reporting that the Consumer Price Index grew by 3.8.
Listen, I understand the argument of a country like Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. I get the idea of that. You know, if something like that, if they had that sort of capabilities before October 7th happened, Israel could have been fucking nuked. There could have been a nuclear war out of that. Now at the same time, it's in this world, if you don't have a nuke, you're basically just open to get bullied. Now, it's just, how can I sit here and say, like, they don't have the same right to have nuclear weapons when we do? You know, when we're the only ones who have ever dropped them. So, at least on people that we know of. So, because Iran, it's Iran's open support of very extreme groups. Not that America doesn't do shit, but like imagine if like for the last like 50 years like people in Appalachia have been having their homes taken by people from fucking Tennessee, and then the fucking clan rolls in and they form up with them to try to like attack them and shit, and you have a fucking and the like Trump administration directly like supports them and like puts them on the news and like if you wanted to take out like that'd be how you do it. I don't know, that was a very very awful fucking analogy, but I get the idea of like just with Iran's support of certain factions.
8% April compared to the previous year, up from 3.3% growth in March and 2.4% in February. And this comes as the jobs report released last Friday showed that wages only went up 3.6%, meaning that it is also the first time that inflation is outpacing wage growth since 2023, which is then why you have people like the chief economist at Navy Federal Credit Union telling CNBC, inflation is the key drag on the U.S. economy now, saying this is hurting Americans. And actually, it may be even worse than the government's numbers suggest. Right, with one firm which tracks daily prices of millions of consumer products sold by online retailers finding that the annual inflation rate actually reached 4.5% as of mid-April, and saying that it increased by almost a whole percent from March to April, which marked the third largest single-month increase in the index history going back to 2008. Now that rate has grown larger and has turned into a vast operational area. But then also today you had Hegseth is too keen on answering.
The munitions issue has been foolishly and unhelpfully overstated. We know exactly what we have. We have plenty of what we need.
With that coming just days after Democratic Senator Mark Kelly told CBS News' Face the Nation that it is shocking how deep the U.S. has gone into its munition stockpiles. And that's not just yapping. That is a claim backed up by independent reporting from multiple.
I mean, yes, but at the same time, I don't fucking Hegseth's a piece of shit. He'll get his Nuremberg trials one day, but what he said there is true. I'm not worried about the U.S. running out of fucking weapons. I am not. The U.S. military is mostly like a shipping company, like a logistics company. That is what they are. The U.S. and like our soldiers not having the things to work with. Now there's a difference between like the capabilities and being scared of that, and then like not just not wanting to use these things for what they're being used for. But no, like the U.S. at the freak out like we're using all our it's like the same shit they said about Russia and stuff, like except it's the U.S. It's not actually no. Don't worry about that.
Multiple media outlets and the Center for Strategic and International Studies. And in fact, Hegseth himself had this exchange with Kelly in his previous testimony before Congress.
We can't make these munitions overnight, and it's clear from your budget request that you know that. Can you tell us how many years specifically is it going to take to replace these systems?
I think that's exactly the right question, too, Senator, because the time frame we were existing under was unacceptable.
Okay, well,
and what this budget does, months and years, fast.
Years?
I mean, we're building new plants in real time.
So just to replace what we have expended.
I said months.
And then you said years.
It depends on the weapon system.
But despite all that, after Kelly's comments on CBS, Hegseth accused him of leaking classified information and announced that the Pentagon would review his actions. With this coming only a few days after an appeals court seemed to reject Hegseth's attempt to punish Kelly for being one of the several Democratic veterans turned lawmakers publicly urging service members to refuse illegal orders. Right, even after a federal judge already ruled earlier this year that the Pentagon's efforts were unconstitutionally retaliatory. And actually you had Kelly responding to this latest effort by denying the accusation and sharing the clip of their previous exchange and adding, "That's not classified, it's a quote from you." And then there's more that we've got to dive into.
No, I will say I get the illegal orders thing. I get it, and it is the right thing to do, but World War III is going to happen within the next like couple years. All right, we're gonna get down with China at some point. It's gonna be a shit show. It's gonna happen. It might not come home, but that's fucking gonna happen. So a military, no matter what government or who runs it, cannot work if soldiers do not follow orders, especially if it's a matter of legality in the very moment. Now, there's certain things that executing prisoners, shit like that, executing civilians. But if you have soldiers just refusing orders, I mean, that's when you start having things start to fall apart. Now I understand there's certain things. There's a difference between, I think, soldiers, actively disobeying orders in the moment that they know are illegal versus doing things like not being able to show up to work. I don't know. It's just, it'd be fucking terrifying to be in the middle of a mass thing like that where soldiers are denying orders and shit, and then something goes down where we don't have the U.S. military we have now. And I agree with a lot of people's arguments about spending in the U.S. military too much. You can send people to college and give people fucking houses and shit for that. Like pay for people's lives with like a single jet. I feel pretty fucking good living in this country knowing that there's nothing that can fuck with us. I really do. That's one thing that I do really like about the U.S. No one's going to, from other countries, is going to fuck with you. That's why 9/11 was such a big deal.
Just a minute, but first let me thank a sponsor and say, imagine getting a call from someone you trust, same voice, same tone, asking for help, and then it's not actually them. That's not the plot of some movie. That is risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. But then, diving right back into the news, the mayor of an American city just confessed to working in the United States as an illegal agent of a foreign government. And that government's not just any government. It is the People's Republic of China.
Everyone, my name is Eileen Wayne. Public safety, homeless issue, transportation, education, all are my priority.
So that's Eileen Wang. She's the 58-year-old mayor, or I guess as of yesterday, former mayor of Arcadia, which is a city in Southern California's San Gabriel Valley, just northeast of downtown LA. And it's home to about 56,000 people, nearly 60% of which identify as Asian, but really residents of all ethnicities were shocked to learn that their mayor took direct orders from the CCP. But also, I've got to say, looking into it now, and maybe it's like looking, hindsight's 2020, you could tell that something was a bit off about her from the start, just judging by her strange campaign videos. Right? In several of them, you just watch her walking around random locations while extremely intense EDM plays, and even some frankly god-awful country music that kind of sounds AI generated. While you might not be totally sure how that was supposed to persuade people to vote for her, it somehow worked, because in late 2022, she got elected to the Arcadia City Council, from which she was then selected to be mayor.
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. I firmly oppose
Jesus Christ, y'all. Come on.
any attempt by any foreign governments to influence.
Well, I think this shows, especially with a government like the U.S., where it just takes time. A city like, the propaganda, they can pump shit directly into your feeds on your phones and what pops up on your phone for news and shit directly to you, depending on like what you use. They use Facebook, Instagram. Like old people's are on social media too. They can influence what news stations are owned over there by who and what they produce. With enough influence. It's pretty fucking, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of impressive that they did this. It's kind of should be a wake-up call.
Or interfere.
One of the big things here is that people have been suspicious of her for a while now. And that in part because in late 2024, her campaign manager and treasurer, Mike Sun, whom she called her boyfriend and fiance, was also charged with being a Chinese spy. And so then everyone's eyes kind of went towards Wang, and she was like, huh, Mike Sun, who's that?
Number one, he's not my fiancé.
What?
Whoever wants to see he's my fiancé or former fiancé, please prove it.
And this, even though she herself said the opposite previously.
To my fiancé, Director Mike Sun.
So then people were like, okay, yeah, she might be a Chinese spy.
Excuse me, Miss Wong?
Really understand.
Can we speak with you about these allegations?
Can you just give us your reaction to the sentence?
And well, it turns out the skeptics were right, because the Justice Department announced that she has agreed to plead guilty to working for the CCP, chiefly by running a pro-Beijing propaganda outlet. It was called U.S. News Center, and at first glance, it looks pretty legit, but sprinkled in there were articles denying human rights abuses in China and otherwise promoting Beijing's interests. And well, according to the DOJ, those articles were pre-written by the Chinese government, sent over to Wang and Sun via WeChat, and then posted online. One time, Wang even allegedly received edits from a PRC official, made the revisions, and then sent back a screenshot showing the article had been viewed over 15,000 times. With the official responding, great, to which Wang allegedly said, "Thank you, leader." And it appears to go all the way to the top, with prosecutors alleging that Wang was in contact with John Chen, who's a high-level Chinese intelligence official who met personally with President Xi Jinping. And with that, they say, for example, that she once asked him to post an article and added, "This is what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wants to send." So now, both Chen and Sun are already in federal prison. Wang's facing up to 10 years too, though she will likely get a more lenient sentence than...
President of China just came to the U.S. That's fucking crazy, dude. Holy shit.
Even though they make up a quarter of the state's population, it'll likely give Republicans at least one more seat in the House after the midterms. And now people are saying that it's no longer just speculation, that we're not just being dramatic, that the writing is on the wall.
Oh yeah, the Hasan thing last night. Let me see if I can is the full video up? No. Hold on. Come on, dude. Oh, his lot. Interesting. Only a couple of his lives are on. I'm not, and I saw some people streaming on Twitch about her too. Oh, iDubbbz is streaming. I wasn't fully like her answers. So a lot of them are kind of dog shit. You can even see it in Hasan's face. Like she didn't do that good. See what he's talking about.
Oh, proprioceptors. Proprioceptors. I thought that was something different. I don't think that's a thing. Well, I'm going to look it up right now and prove you wrong. Just going to say no.
Love iDubbbz.
Do fat people have less nerve sense?
All right. Oh, Jesus Christ, I forgot about this. Let's just save as right there. Cool. I don't... Sure. Okay, I just want to save that. Cool. Now, what to do? Do some half sword. I could do some more arc raiders. No, we're going to do some squad. I've been playing a little bit more of it. Squad, I have... So, let's break this down real quick. We go to my library. Arc Raiders, 300 hours. That's normal for how long I've had it. I have 2,000 hours in Reforger, right? I have a crazy amount. That's pretty good in my opinion, I think. Let's look at squad. $15. Oh, damn. I thought I'd have more. It's pretty good, though. I think it's, round 2.
Welcome to
Damn,
Squad.
Really fucking...
Squad.
Damn, I didn't realize I played Reforger. I mean, I played the fuck out of it for a long time, but I didn't realize I had fucking almost 2,000 hours, dude. Holy shit. yellow.
My game's big. Bear with me. Shit's just not loading in.
That is unfortunate.
I was just in a match and it.
That is very unfortunate, my friend.
What happens? Nothing loads, or? Yeah, just vehicles and people.
Hey, SL, I'm gonna spawn at E5. Are you swinging it through there, or are you going around it?
Well, I think I'm gonna leave my command, because my shit is not loaded.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
Yeah, I'll probably leave and then try to jump back.
Don't worry, we got a one IED by coming towards him.
Oh shit.
Get him! Just gonna kick him distracted. My guy's approaching front of the south side.
I'm trying to flank around him, hit him with some of that armor piercing.
Roger.
Can someone keep accurate marks on him? I don't see him at the moment.
Yeah.
Yo, can I grab a
He pushed up, pushed up.
Okay, big ladder.
He's over on spawn
can I
5
get
mark.
a parking meet? I have to place the ladder.
Copy. I'm on
Roger.
track.
It's accurate.
It's accurate.
There's armor or F5, guys.
He's looking at me. He's looking at me. Go, 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 go.
Load up, load up.
We got it, we got it.
Good kill. Good kill.
Okay, never mind.
Good shit, get this right.
The fucking 1-2 bait and go in. It worked flawlessly.
Copy.
Very well played, guys. Now we can chill. Next gap is 5 diamonds. Center of the map.
Yeah, we got it.
Hey, SL, to your southwest, there's guys in the hedgerow.
Yeah, one's down, one's down. Yeah, they close directly southwest, so we just went down.
I'm gonna try and make my way up to you.
Hey, directly on the wall.
I think there's a half, bro. They got a half up there on your wrist. On your wrist, they have a half on that P4 island.
No, we need more people.
Hey, if you guys don't give up, I'm a medic.
Hey guys, my FD up on
If you're like in cover, we'll give up.
Looks
Otherwise,
like on the,
let me do my job.
on the
Got up.
Heard. That was just me making sure they're not fucking keeping their heads up at us.
I think they have a hab and observe mark 6. I see lots of infantry exiting out of 6. One's observe mark.
That's what I said, they got a head on. Roger. Heard Harger shooting around our hab, down to, squad 2 just got knocked out. Lodging. Yeah, he's on that, east side of our fob.
North. Well, they got it too.
Radio's on my, hat north on D487.
We can spawn on C4 and then push east.
I'm inside their half.
Good shit.
Yeah, the Goyim is holding.
You said
Kill
that's
three.
on you?
Yeah, I have on me.
Tell those guys
shit,
in the
that's a
field to my
massacre.
southwest, they got
6,
guys
7
coming up
guys.
right beside them.
He got me, bro. Like, I killed 10 of them down there.
Where they at?
That hab accessible by an IED bike.
Yeah, but like, do you have a sapper?
No, but there's ones over here. Lack, tell that combat engineer beside you to get back to me. I'm gonna get an IED bike right into that fucking hab.
Yeah, bro, that's a great idea. Like, we could cap that shit.
Honestly, yeah, we have enough dudes on it. I think we're gonna take it. 5's going pretty hard.
Yeah, but we will have losses if we don't IED.
I just heard a guy in Squad 9 say the enemy radio in D4 in the north is accurate.
Hey, never mind. Combat engineer just died horribly.
Yeah, yep.
The radio marker D4 is very accurate. So just keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, what's just southeast at this point?
They should only have one radio at the moment. I blew up their other logi truck earlier. If we take out Obila Ross, they're fucked.
If you're dead, spawn to the hab to the east, please.
Just tell me, mark where you want the range mark.
I just blew up their second logi.
I think they got a...
Alright, we're about to start getting mortars on the backside of the objective. Squad 2, attack mark.
Can we get an accurate mark on the enemy hab on OP doors?
Mark it. I'll hit that thing.
They're reinforcing that radio marker, so.
Roger that. Getting eyes.
I'm trying to see if I can send my guy driving a IED bike to bomb the point so we can clear out some for our infantry push.
Eyes.
The mortar should be on the backside of the objective. Give me
Enemy
marks.
big destroyed.
I think that dick got hit. Fight's not over yet.
Get my guys coming out with IED bike, clear out.
That was big, but I don't think it took out the hab, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Alright, smoke in the field.
Copy. One, you got a GL north, like, round move, I'd say.
Copy. Investigate. Is it an emplacement or like a vehicle?
Pretty sure in place or something.
There's an APC rolling up to the northwest side.
It's a Vic. I got him. I got him.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Radio.
in on you.
Yale Vic's no more.
Moving on to the point.
We're capturing OP Laros.
Mortar's coming down on their fob again.
Good job capping it, guys.
I just killed a marksman looking at you. So in the bush.
Unfortunately, we lost the attack phone. We're
north.
losing it.
We're gonna go set up a fire support base loaded with Hell
Yeah,
Cannon
it's just one or
support.
two people. They just need to go get them.
Oh, there's another one?
It's just one or two people. They just need to kill them.
We've recovered the radio. Radio is safe.
Good shit. Let's block that off and put some barbed wire and shit up. They know where
Yeah,
it's
I'm
at.
gonna do it now. Just give me a sec.
Hey, is the radio mark north of La Rose accurate?
Yep. One of the guys, I forget what squad it just put a C4 on it, so. Squad
We
5.
are mortaring it right now as well.
Okay, copy.
Is there guys up here?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
We need to build up some defenses, guys. Can't just have everyone fighting. We need some shovels.
And that's enough of that for me. I just get so fucking bored in squads sometimes. Anything we should